Hey guys, Amy here with Gold Plating Services. Today we're going to kind of highlight our immersion rose gold plating solution. There have been some different questions that we're having out there, so we're hoping that this video will answer some of those questions for you. First of all, I've got two different sets of earrings here. We've got one that's gold plated and one that's nickel plated. We've had a lot of controversy out there whether or not gold underplate is necessary when plating with our rose gold. So what I did is, rose gold isn't as common, and so we don't actually keep a ProLab tower specifically for our rose gold. And so I have one of our little small auxiliary heated units. This is just a 1 liter bath setup, most commonly used with our Jewel Master plater. But I wanted to show you guys how easy it is to accommodate a smaller bath with our ProLab system as well. So it typically has its own heater and is going to be piggybacking up on my gold power supply here. So rose gold is a solution that requires heating. So whether you have our ProLab or the auxiliary, it does require the heat. And then one other requirement for rose gold is a stainless steel anode. So you can see that we have that here with our thermometer to kind of keep track of where our temperature is at. This little unit does not have a temperature sensor, so it doesn't turn off the heating when it reaches that point. So you do need to manually turn it off if your temperature gets high, so it doesn't get too hot. If your solution does get too hot, you can have problems with the plating process. But typically, you've got a good 20 degrees Fahrenheit to work with. So I'm going to turn our solution back on here. And our rose gold solution requires a very similar voltage to gold. So I'm actually going to turn my voltage up closer to about 3 volts. It will typically drop once I put the part in, but I'm going to get that ready. Rose gold doesn't require air agitation. Some do use the air agitation. It's more personal preference. So we'll leave that up to you. Rose gold is a mixed metal, so it contains copper and gold. Copper, as most of you know, does tend to corrode rather quickly, and so the gold content in there stops that corrosion from happening. Over time, the gold content will actually play out of your copper solution or reduce significantly to where the copper overrides the gold. So it is important that if you see any corrosion happening in your plating, that you either replace your rose gold bath completely, or you can add our gold replenisher. You can find out more information on some of our other videos or on our website about our replenisher. The purpose of the video today, again, is to kind of highlight, is the gold underplate necessary, or can I plate rose gold directly onto my nickel or palladium surface? And so we are actually going to show you today roughly what the results are. I'm actually going to get my gloves on before I start the plating, just safety-wise, so give me a moment. All right, we got our safety gloves. Obviously, you want to be careful when handling any kind of solutions or any items that might have some dried solution on there, more irritation-wise. All right, so we're going to plate put our gold pieces on our left side, and then I'm going to be putting the nickel pieces on the right side. So when we plate these items, the items will get the same voltage, the same amount of plating, and then you guys can kind of see the results that we get. All right. The little buggers, we want to make sure are in there securely enough that they're not going to pop off and fall on the bottom of our tank. One other thing I just kind of want to mention is smaller items typically will deposit a little bit quicker, and so you don't need as high of a voltage. What might happen is those parts might be a little bit hazy when they come out of the rose gold. In that case, just lightly polish it. All right, so because these parts were dried out, what we're going to do is we're actually going to run them through our electroclean first, and then we are going to need to activate it. Nickel needs to be activated in order for the rose gold to properly adhere to the surface. Gold typically does not need to be activated again. We always recommend it just for reassurance that you don't have any adhesion problems. So we're going to come back through our Electri-Clean, and we're going to run in there. I'm using my Jewel Master rack, so I'm just going to actually hold it while we Electri-Clean. We'll run it about 30 seconds. All right. So I do want to add just a couple tips out there. Electri-Clean is a very bubbly, as you can see, solution, and so a lot of times the residue remains on your part. It is very important you do enough rinses to get all that Electri-Clean off, or it can cause issues in the next steps. All right, and then we're gonna just dip this in our activator for about 10 seconds. Okay, come out and we will rinse that, and then we will be ready for our rose gold. All right, so I'm gonna leave this in our solution. We don't seem to be bubbling, so something's going on here. Oh, nope, we are. It's just taking a moment. Actually, so that might be a good indicator that I can actually turn my voltage up a little bit higher. Again, because it's a mixed metal, I always recommend you kind of start at the lower voltage and then work your way up. You can already see here that the rose gold is standing out. If you look at the top, you can see our normal gold just from the rack. So we're going to leave this in here probably for about 2 minutes. Rose gold does not typically plate as heavy as easily as gold because it is a mixed metal. Also, if you tend to leave it in too long, it may over deposit and get kind of a hazy finish. If it does have more of a hazy finish, just like our gold solution, just get a nice polishing cloth or some baking soda and water and make a paste and just kind of polish off the top of that. So we will show you the results here in just a few moments. All right, guys, I think we are done here. All right, just at a quick view, everything here from the gold plated and the nickel plated rose gold, it's looking pretty consistent. So I'm gonna go ahead and rinse these off and get them dried up, and then we'll have a look at them. All right, so for the purpose of the video, we wanted to actually show you a gold plated item compared next to the rose gold. Now this side is the earrings that were gold plated prior to going into the rose gold, and this set here was the rose gold on top of the nickel, and so it's kind of hard to see in the video, but I visually cannot tell a difference between one or the other. After speaking with our customers, what feedback we have gotten is as the rose gold wears down, the underplate will start to kind of show through. And so really that's kind of the determining factor. You're either going to have more of a gold that might be more of a seldom transition as that rose gold wears down, or you have the nickel or palladium finish that kind of shows through. So at this point, after our plating, it's more of a personal preference. Find out what you guys like. The other thing I kind of want to point out is I mentioned earlier in the video that the rose gold is a mixture of our copper and our gold, and the gold helps keep it from oxidizing or beginning to tarnish. And so if I did this plating fresh and say my gold content is low, I'm not going to actually know right after plating that the gold content was too low. It may not be for a few hours, it may not be for a couple days, depending on how low that gold content was, before I know that it begins to corrode. So as I mentioned before, what we recommend is getting like a 1 ounce bottle of replenisher, kind of have it on the side where you can add a small amount before you begin your plating. That will just give you the reassurance that you're not going to have corrosion problems. Having too much gold content in there with the copper is not significantly going to make a difference in the tone that you get. At the end of the day, it's more just your reassurance that you're not going to have a poor product shipped out to your customer or having to hang on to it for a few days. The other option that you guys have, if you don't want to worry about all the additional replenisher, is you can add a clear coat on top of the rose gold, and that will just keep that copper from oxidizing and beginning to tarnish. So I hope this video answered some of the questions that our customers have out there. We want you guys to be successful with our products. We want you to be confident. Your success is our success. So please let us know what else we can do, where the questions are. We are here to help.